We are back. It is week 16 of the NFL season. Colts and 49ers. Indiana Knights. I thought I heard the Red Panda for the halftime show coming up on Monday. Adam Vinatieri on the anvil. I'm actually a big fan of these jerseys and actually really love the helmets as well. So, boy, it is such a critical juncture of the season. We got a ton to get to on today's podcast. First off, we are coming to you Thursday afternoon. A little apology there, but with the Monday night game, granted, it's the first time the Colts have played Monday Night Football in 3 years, so we aren't really used to this. You push back everything pretty much a day in the NFL calendar. So just left the Colts practice field about an hour ago. Their normal Wednesday through Friday cadence is now Thursday through Saturday this week. So we'll come at you Tuesday next week and recapping that one, obviously. So like I said, a ton to get to, and we are back in the bullpen. It's that time of year where we tend to go to the bullpen a lot, and certainly nothing against Eddie Garrison or Mark Dykton or Chris Presley or Joey Molinaro or Ross Lubbers, but easily this is the best arm we've got out of the bullpen, and certainly the best looking, if I must say so myself. Prime time, very fitting. We have called on Maddie Bowen to try and get the Colts back on track. Mads, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. This is Nellie's here too, and this is the first time she's hearing her dad's radio voice live, and she just about jumped out of her diaper when she heard you start.
Yeah, she did have a little startle there. It almost looked like Phillip Rivers, hitting the old logo at the 50-yard line last week in the Seattle game. Mads, thank you for the time. This is a big, big friction point in the Colts season. So I think your presence and your thoughts are needed. Overall, 2025 season so far, what would you say?
Well, I mean, it's obviously been so fun and then so disappointing. And, I think a lot of people who are fans just kind of have a pit in their stomach right now. At least that's kind of how I feel. So we need a win. And but, yeah, I mean, it's been a really fun season, obviously. Yeah,
Blake Grupe, I know, caught your eye the other day when that Colts kicker came out there. 148 pounds for Blake Grupe.
5'7", 148 pounds. Yeah.
148, it's like a point guard on the, Bishop Chatard girls basketball team from back in the day. But nonetheless, big kick from Grupe and kicking, boy, we'll get to that with the 49ers. I think the 49ers have some chinks in the armor. 10-4 is wildly impressive considering their injuries. And I think Kyle Shanahan deserves Coach of the Year consideration. But really, their special teams has just been absurdly good. So we'll wait for the 49ers thoughts. A lot to get to quarterback-wise. And Mads, let's just start there. From afar, I guess, should we start Richardson? Should we start Rivers? Where do you want to go first?
Yeah, I think that people are wondering what in the world was Anthony Richardson cleared for. I think there's some confusion there, and it's just so crazy. I mean, his injury overall was such a crazy thing. I remember when you told me about that, and I was like, he's cursed. You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah, that's a really unfortunate way, but probably an accurate way to put it. Let's start here. When Eddie and I recorded on Monday, we were waiting to hear from Shane Steichen, and when he spoke in that Monday afternoon Zoom, I would say probably the 15-ish questions I got asked for him were all centered quarterback related. And, for the most part, I think Shane is very composed in these media settings. I think he rarely breaks character or cracks, if you will, in a very demonstrative way. But I did think one of the last questions, it might have been the last now that I think about it, I think Nathan Brown from The Star asked that. By the way, Nathan Brown's wife made a Daniel Tiger birthday cake for their 4-year-old. Oh, my God. Good.
No one loves Daniel Tiger more than you.
I love Daniel Tiger. I love it. And Grand Père is one of my favorites out there. And shout out to Max in the Daniel Tiger episode there. But Nathan asked something in relation to Riley Leonard, and, in the midst of answering that, Shane Steichen utters the phrase, and this is in relation to Phillip Rivers, we didn't bring him here to sit on the bench. I'll say that. And in Shane lingo, that to me really stood out. That's like, if anybody thought they were going to Riley Leonard, if anybody thought they were going to Anthony Richardson anytime soon, no. That's a wag of the finger from Shane Steichen. This is Phillip Rivers' football team on Monday night. I fully expect it to be Phillip Rivers' football team a week from Sunday. And you know what? We'll see what happens week 18 in Houston. Obviously, could you imagine if the Colts were playing for their playoff lives in Houston and it's Phillip Rivers and that game gets flexed a la 2 years ago when the exact reverse happened and C.J. Stroud came to this city and won? And could you, full picture here, Phillip Rivers 5 years after you were last in the playoffs and boom, he's got that opportunity. Now, if you're eliminated, does that bring Anthony Richardson back into the picture? These are all things that certainly are on my mind, but
like, what specifically has he been cleared for, Anthony
well,
Richardson?
yeah, let's get there. I guess just one final thought. This is Phillip Rivers' football team, and I don't expect that to change anytime soon. So let me start there. Now, in regards to Richardson, let's go over the injury. Back on October 12th, the bar with the elastic band in the locker room before the game snaps, hits him under the right eye. It fractures his orbital. The scar was pretty jarring to see up close today. I mean,
really?
to see Anthony's scar still so prevalent right under that eye. And I think I've described the scene before, on this podcast. I mean, it was gruesome. I mean, we are talking blood, significant amounts of blood. We are talking him in an ambulance leaving the locker room, leaving Lucas Oil Stadium.
Have they confirmed that his vision is okay?
Well, no. Well, I guess they've confirmed that it's not okay.
Oh, they've confirmed that his vision's not okay?
Yeah, so, Shane Steichen used the phrase today, limitations with vision.
Oh.
From what I have gathered, he's got some scarring on the eye, and it's causing some impaired vision. That could heal at some point, but there are some questions about that healing. And that healing might not occur until the calendar reads 2026. Now, the last thing I try to do is compare myself to anybody in a professional sports setting. What I have gathered is, and Mads, you obviously see me wear glasses, you know this full well. If I'm playing golf, could I play golf without my contacts in?
I don't think that's a good comparison, though. I think you have to think, could you play golf with an eye patch on? He has one good eye, right?
Well, no. This is not like he's blind in one eye. There is some impaired vision in the other eye. So could you go out there, and again, could you play golf with whatever, one contact in or none in?
Yeah.
Yes, it's not ideal. You're squinting for 4 hours probably. You're certainly squinting on the tee box of every par 3, but you could do it. Unfortunately, this isn't a case where you just pop in a contact or you do something with his visor. He said today, I'll wear the same visor that I've always worn. So there is some sort of impaired vision. Now, again, we all go through life and there's different levels of vision here, and you're able to function at some level. Obviously, having great vision as a quarterback
is really important.
Is paramount. Mm-hmm. And you can insert your Anthony Richardson accuracy jokes here. I will choose not to, but certainly you have questions. And I think that is a key ingredient to him getting back to practice.
So
how
if it
much
weren't for vision, he would be back out there.
I have gathered if it wasn't for vision, he would be cleared.
Okay.
From an orbital standpoint. Remember, there's two things here. And this is much more about vision than it is orbital. The bone is healed. This is more of, can you function playing quarterback in the NFL with whatever vision you are currently dealing with?
Got it.
So I think that's where we're at with Richardson, and that's what he's about to find out. If you want to get technical, I believe that the vision issue is a little bit more peripheral vision, and it's not from the blind side. From a right-handed quarterback, this is the right eye. So, he is looking in that general direction more so than it would be, from the blind side. But, I mean, again, this is a very serious injury. He easily could have lost his vision in this. And I think one thing we have to keep in mind, too, I am not very familiarized with many quarterbacks dealing with this sort of injury, particularly vision. People have brought up before, Reggie Miller actually suffered an orbital fracture back in the day. We've seen guys, in a basketball setting, and they just mask it up. But again, this is orbital plus vision, and vision more than orbital, if we're going to get technical on it, which that's not what you want. Bones heal.
Right.
Vision might not. Retinas might not. It just... So I think that covers everything Richardson related. Now, does he get through a week of practice, and does all of a sudden they say, hey, he's throwing the ball fine and he's reading coverages fine? And how many team reps is he getting? That's a question I have as well. I think in an NFL setting, Phillips getting all the starting reps, Riley Leonard's getting all the scout team reps, or at least the majority, and then you're sprinkling Anthony in. Again, how much can you really judge here in these practice settings over the next couple of weeks? I'd assume next week, for example, they'd only have 2 practices coming off the Monday night game, short week going into that Jacksonville game. So, I'll go back to what I said earlier. Phillip Rivers starting this week. Riley Leonard's the backup. Anthony will not be dressed on Monday, and I have continued skepticism about him, pushing that 1 or 2 on the depth chart. Now, once he is cleared, in my opinion, And maybe the short yardage package doesn't need pristine 20/20 vision. Can he run it on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1? Because remember, the Colts only countered that one time in Seattle, and Jonathan Taylor got stuffed, and it was a false start. So for me, that is something that I think they need to explore. Whether it's Riley Leonard's legs, whether it's Anthony Richardson's legs, you need someone that can move.
Not Philip Rivers.
He can't move.
I know.
I mean, if you don't laugh, you're going to cry.
I know.
I said he's Tim Allen and Santa Claus. Do you like that or no? Is that a good analogy? How would you just
what?
Well, based off his physique.
Well, Tim Allen and Santa Claus's physique really fluctuates. That's part of the movie.
Well, yeah, I'm talking, after he does the little, voice inflection with the old gut there. You, Phillip Rivers, in the backyard right now. Who's winning a foot race?
Oh, gosh. Hopefully Philip Rivers, but that would be so sad if I won that. But yeah, I have this vision of him sort of fumbling backward. Not fumbling's the wrong word, but just sort of stumbling backwards at one point in one of the plays last game, and I was just like, I looked at my dad and I was like, oh my gosh,
yeah, that was sad. Yeah, that was sad. But all right, shout out to Phillip Rivers. Let's transition a little bit there to the Rivers side of it. Obviously the big thing for me is just, again, how are you creating chunk plays, particularly those plays of 15 yards or more. I was crunching some numbers earlier this week. If you look at the Colts touchdown drives this season. And I took out all the drives that started on the plus side of the 50, basically all those turnover drives, Cam Bynum in Germany, or, Latu tipping the Mahomes pass up in the air in the Chiefs game. Basically all the drives that were over 50 yards. Every single touchdown drive but one. I think it was like 35 to 36, 36 to 37. So basically all of them had a play of at least 15 yards in it. It is
interesting,
borderline impossible in today's NFL to grind out these 70-yard scoring drives that are 4 yards here, 3 yards there, 7 yards there. You got to hit a chunk.
Yeah.
And ironically, if you look at Sunday, the one touchdown drive they had, they hit one of those two chunks. They only had two of them the whole game, season low by far. One of them was to Tyler Warren for 17. That ended in Josh Downs' touchdown. By the way, do you remember the Pacer game when you didn't recognize Josh Downs?
Yeah.
Can you tell that story?
They were just sitting right behind us. It was Alec Pierce and Josh Downs. And Alec is just so easy to, I just feel like people know what he looks like. He has, a very unique look to him. And so I recognized him, and I asked you who he was with, and you were like, are you serious?
No, you went selfie with Alec Pierce. Oh, yeah. And Josh Downs, had to get out of the way like he was...
That's right.
Like he was a nobody.
That's right. I know.
That might have been one of your lower moments.
Oh, it's hard when they always have their helmets on, and I just feel like, I don't know, Alec Pierce he is such a unique looking guy. I just always know what he looked like, but now I'll never forget what Josh Downs looks like.
Gosh, that probably sums up the season Josh Downs has frankly had. By the way, I did not see Josh Downs at practice today, so that will be one injury I think to keep an eye on moving forward. So again, how can Rivers create that? You
should post that picture on your Instagram for people who want to see it.
I don't know. Josh Downs is a good quote in the locker room. I need to stay on the good side of him here.
I think eventually I got one with both of them.
Yeah, I'm sure Josh Downs is really happy about that over time. Is there anything more on the arm of Rivers? I'm just so skeptical of that. Can you hit more of the downs, double moves that obviously he missed on Sunday, one of those. I feel like a broken record with Pierce, but I've said it for years. Good things happen when you target him. I would target him every quarter. I would target Pierce every quarter down the field. And let's say that's 4 targets. He catches one of the 2, and one of the other 2 goes for a pass interference penalty. And boom, that's a 50% success rate on a 30, 40-yard play, and that's because Alec Pierce is a special talent. So how do the Colts tap into that a little bit more? I think those will be things to watch. So, that's probably everything Rivers-related for me. San Francisco is a team that, we're talking Robert Saleh, we're talking Gus Bradley, we're talking a very vanilla defense. They're the worst sack team in the NFL. Tennessee gashed them on the ground last week, over 6 yards per carry. So there's a lot, I think, to like on paper about the Colts doing something a little bit more here. The question becomes, with a banged-up offensive line, which I want to get to, how much can you do with Uncle Phil? Do you think he can throw the ball more down the field?
I do. There's just this big part of me that trusts him for whatever reason. I think it's super cool that he, is back and challenging himself. And there's just
Okay, now you got to separate yourself. Are you talking the movie? You're on the couch watching the movie on Friday night? Or are you talking an NFL football game? Because those are two different things.
Well, I think everyone here knows that I'm not an NFL commentator and that I probably lead with my heart more than my head. But, I mean...
Because you got to win games.
Yeah, but I think that there's just something about a person who is seasoned, who can, trust themselves and not take it too seriously. I feel like it was one of the... Who's the Cincinnati quarterback?
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, he said something recently in some press conference, or knows after a game, we get to go out there and play a kid's game for our adult jobs or something. And, I think that that's right. And I think there's a level of taking it seriously, but also just having this confidence. And I think that translates to balls being thrown and caught. So we'll see.
Okay, let's get into a couple other injury items before we talk 49ers and transition to Twitter questions. We'll see about Bernard Ryman. I tweeted out a picture of Ryman today early in practice. By the time we left practice, whatever was on his elbow was even bigger. He had some sort of, Robo-Cop looking thing. He does not look like a dude that's going to play football on Monday night, I guess is probably how I would say it.
And he played last week.
He played last week, got hurt in the game. So let's talk offensive line for a second. You could continue to run out the same group you did to end the game. That was Luke Tenuta at left tackle, filling in for Ryman, Quentin Nelson at left guard, Tanner Bortolini at center, and then the right side combination of Matt Gonzalez and Jalen Travis. I am curious, though, do they opt for the best five? Now, I say that in quotes, best five, but is this where Dalton Tucker, who started 7 games at right guard for you last year, could he slide into the starting lineup? Now, that's a lot of musical chairs, which I think naturally probably frightens some people. But is that Matt Gonzalez now back over to right tackle, where he started 8 games last year for Braden Smith, and then you switch Jalen Travis, the rookie, who didn't do a whole lot of left tackle in the offseason, but you would put him on the Rivers blind side. So that, I think you're looking at those two options. And part of me thinks the musical chairs is a little bit more at play here than maybe everyone realizes. So just something to keep an eye on here.
Why don't people realize how at play the musical chairs is?
Well, I think the 5 that ended last week, for the most part, did a nice job. And I think the thought is Jalen Travis has drilled a little bit more at right tackle. Keep him there. Gonzalez has done the right guard thing all year. Basically, do you replace one spot, which you kind of just, collateral damage, okay? It's one spot. It might not go very well, but it's just one. Versus, do you strive for a little bit more? Hey, we think this is our best 5, but you're moving 3 people. They always say the offensive line's a fist. It's like, it's more of a, hey, we need as soon as one cracks, everyone's cracking. So I'll be interested to see. Again, San Francisco's front is, this San Francisco defense, good luck naming people on it. Can you name anybody on the 49ers?
Well, the WAG, do you know what WAG stands for?
No.
You don't? Do you know what I mean? Have you heard it?
No. This is the lag in a golf swing. WAG?
Yeah.
No.
That's so surprising to me. It's wives and girlfriends.
Oh.
So wives and girlfriends of, it's sort of a colloquial term for the wives and girlfriends of athletes, of professional athletes.
All right. Tell me more.
And so, the ultimate WAG is Taylor Swift. But there's a really popular WAG who is attached to, I think, a 49ers player.
Yeah.
Christian McCaffrey.
Oh, yeah.
He has a famous girlfriend.
Yes. Her name again?
Wife, Olivia Culpo.
Yeah, very attractive, correct?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they just had a little baby, too.
Really?
Yeah. So I know Christian McCaffrey.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
On the 49ers?
Yeah.
No, but I can name some more WAGs.
Now, what's the guy's name who barely is in the NFL, but you've brought up his wife lately, and she just broke up with him?
Yeah, Alex Earl. She's really famous. She was just on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, Barrios, right?
Yeah, she was attached to Braxton Berrios, who is, I think, on Houston.
Any WAGs for the Colts?
No. Yes, there are. You're considered a WAG if you're attached to any.
Oh, okay.
But No, no,
Any
no famous
upper quartile wags, to
No,
quote Jim Mercer?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Boy,
I know.
Maddie Bowen, find her on Instagram, Colts Wags, and you can have a word with her.
Yeah, well, not many people want to live in Indianapolis, so.
Well, come on now. Tell that to Sauce Gardner and his significant other.
True, she's kind of famous. She's kind of a wag.
Yeah, she's really famous, right?
Yeah.
All right, let's transition. 49ers and Colts here coming up on Monday night. Again, 6.5 the spread here. How good are they? That is a legit question. Their defense, like I said, very nondescript. Awful stopping the run. Awful getting after the passer. If you look at their stats, it's nothing eye-popping offensively and defensively. The craziest stat is special teams. I mean, if you look deep into the analytics, they are absurdly better than their opponent on special teams. They have not missed a field goal all year, and their opponents have missed 9. Is that not just luck? I mean, obviously having a good kicker is something, but your opponent missing 9 field goals? I mean, that's just...
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's just luck, right?
Yeah.
Eddie Pinheiro is their kicker. Colts injury report has come out for today. Oh, man, it's long. What are they going in this background? It might be an Indiana Nights thing. Okay, the DNPs. Sauce Gardner. Man, Anthony Gould is still out. Jermaine Pratt, personal. Okay, he was one I didn't catch there. Bernard Ryman, of course. I mentioned Josh Downs, also personal. Wow, 2 personal. I hope everything is good with the Downs family and the Pratt family. Richardson was limited officially. Where's Buckner? Buckner was full. So so I think Buckner's going to play. Wrist injury for Quentin Nelson.
Oh, no.
But he was full, so nothing too bad there. Amir Abdullah on the injury report. That's got to be the first time all year. He was full with the knee. So, okay, so your DNPs. Downs personal, Pratt personal. Gould has missed, 2 in a row probably? And then Sauce Gardner remains out. Again, tomorrow will be the big day for Gardner. Is 2 practices enough? November 30th is the last time we saw him, on the field with that strained calf. I always felt Jags more than 49ers. Again, short week next week, but that would be something to keep an eye on. A couple other 49ers notes. We'll see about Ricky Pearsall. Kyle Shanahan said he was not practicing Wednesday, could practice later this week, hasn't ruled him out yet. But again, they have just been decimated with injuries. Brock Purdy, that's their quarterback. Do you know Brock Purdy?
Oh, I totally know who that is.
How do you know him?
He's kind of just in the zeitgeist. He's a pretty devout Christian, right?
Oh, I really don't know much about him.
Yeah.
7th round pick out of Iowa State. That's about it.
And I think people think he's cute.
Who is the hottest dude in the NFL?
Oh my gosh. I would have no idea.
Is Travis Kelce attractive?
Yeah. I don't know who the hottest dude in the NFL is. I would have to think sort of long and hard about that.
You got 20 minutes to go here. So,
okay.
you can't, people are listening here. I don't think you're coming back on the pod anytime soon here. So, you got to make sure you're able to provide an answer. Purdy, again, he's missed 8 games, 7 games, something like that. Kittle missed 5. Nick Bosa tears his ACL in week 3. Fred Warner, awful looking injury in week 6. It is the Brandon Ayuk drama. It is remarkable how banged up they have been, and yet here they are at 10-4. Again, the defense very simplistic. It was funny. I was chatting with an NFL assistant the other night, and he was mentioning if I was facing Rivers, I'd go in the drop 8 mode. And I think it's interesting how people will view Rivers now after a week of tape. He does look a little, and he's always been this way, but he's a little jittery back there. It's a little, I got to get rid of this ball. Well, if you're only rushing 3, is he naturally going to be like that? And yet, if you have 8, now again, you drop 8 in the zone, I have a feeling he'll pick you apart. But still, I think it'll be really interesting how a team with some familiarity with them and Gus Bradley, how they do go about attacking him. Anything else 49ers wise, Mads, you've got before we transition here to Twitter questions?
Nope, I'm ready.
One other note, playoff chances.
This is so scary.
So I believe, if I have this right, I don't think the Colts can be eliminated from the playoffs until week 18. And I think I've hinted at this the last couple weeks. the Colts are in a much better playoff situation than I think people realize. When you see these percentages that they pop up there, a lot of times they are factoring in the Colts situation, i.e., their third quarterback. But if you just purely went off record and how the opponent's schedules look the rest of the way, I really think the Colts have a chance to make it. Now, you got to win 2. That's probably the biggest question. You got to win 2 or 3. And again, if you really want to win 2 of them, those would be the final 2 games, Jacksonville and Houston here. And they haven't won, I think, multiple games in a row, or I guess games in a row, I should say, in the Steichen era in December, January. I think they could be eliminated from the AFC South this weekend. I believe that would be a Jacksonville win over Denver, which obviously is no guarantee. And then the Colts would also lose. Your cheering interest for this weekend, you want Cowboys over Chargers. You want Raiders over Texans. You want Broncos over Jags. You want Browns over Bills. So, on paper, Browns over Bills, Raiders over Raiders over Texans is the one you want. You want Black Hole, unite. You need the Raiders big time, Colts Nation here. So I think that probably covers everything. We got a big playoff article up on the website, 1075thefan.com. So check that out.
I texted a pod listener, a devout pod listener, and also...
you care to name drop or no?
Yeah, my sister Anna.
Oh, okay.
About
there you go.
About the hottest guy in the NFL, because she's just more plugged into that, and I also Googled it, and she and Google said the same thing, which is Jalen Hurts.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I did not know that. Is there any wag with Mr. Hurts?
I believe he's married, but I don't know that she's not like famous in her own right.
Okay.
She also said a lot of people would probably say Justin Herbert. And then...
and I've seen his significant other. She definitely can draw some eyes.
Yeah. And then I also agree with Jimmy Garoppolo.
Really?
Yeah. He just looks hot in this picture. I just Googled.
Yeah, he's always been up there, Jimmy G. Matthew Stafford's backup, right, with the Rams. I think it was a rumor, maybe the Colts had some interest in him. Now, you always liked Matt Ryan, didn't you? You always felt like he was attractive?
Yeah. I don't know.
Oh, really? You saw him play quarterback for the Colts and then you changed?
Probably. He also just seems kind of old now, although is he our age? Is he younger than us? Oh my God, I hope he's not younger than us.
No, he's not younger. No, he's got to be close to 40.
Yeah. We're getting so old.
We got Twitter questions. Can you pull those up?
Yes, sorry.
I know we got a couple here. Then we'll give Colts 49ers picks out there here. I think we're done talking about the attractiveness of NFL players.
Okay, that's what you get when you bring me on the pod. Okay, from John. With QB uncertain for next year and beyond, is it possible that Anthony Richardson gets the 5th-year option as a hedge that 1, AR might still develop, and 2, DJ may not recover? How could you see this problem working out here? I can't recall a single running capable QB that has come back and played to prior level year 1. Can you?
Well, John, I hear you out. Boy, that's an expensive hedge. I mean, the 5th-year option, I want to say, is $22 million. So again, just go over everything with Richardson. He's under contract for next year. The 5th-year option, you have to pick up sometime this offseason. And boy, are you doing that with no first-round pick? I just can't see the Colts doing it. And I think the Colts really feel like Daniel Jones has a chance to be ready week 1. I do. I mean, I get the Achilles recovery history, and I get maybe some skepticism there, but I don't know. This Richardson marriage, it seems just like a junior high relationship. Not only how the fan base views Richardson, but almost how the Colts view him. It's like, you just never really know, and it just seems so volatile and so up and down. So I don't see it, John. So I'd be surprised if the 5th-year option was picked up. Again, top 5 pick, former quarterback. That's expensive. So I'm going to say no on that.
This is something you touched on already a little bit. This is from Salvador. If Sauce Gardner is not available again for this 49ers game, who do you think should be the CB2 for the team? Jonathan Edwards, Cameron Mitchell.
What is CB2?
Don't ask me questions I don't know answers
Well,
to.
I think it's important. Anytime we have the
cornerback.
I mean, you asked me Wags earlier. I think it's fine to ask
Cornerback too.
Cornerback too. Okay.
Jonathan Edwards, Cameron Mitchell. Can they activate Mike Hilton? Because I think Jalen Jones will not be. Keep up the great work. Saludos from Monterrey, Mexico to you and all your team. And also, I missed that John earlier said thanks again and Merry Christmas to you.
How about that? Nice. A little Mexico action there.
You love to see it.
You've been to Mexico much?
Well, we went.
Yeah, we went. Jack Lupo's wedding, right?
Mm-hmm. And then, I went a couple times before that for work stuff.
Would you let Rosie Bowen go there for high school spring break?
That's a huge conversation, but
well,
for the record, no.
Yeah, I'm with you. It frightens me, honestly. It keeps me up at night. It makes me think I need a second hair transplant. Boy, that's a great question, Salvador. When you look at the cornerback group, I was really surprised to see how the snap count played out in Seattle. First off, I know I've said this before, but why isn't Kenny Moore just playing every snap? Like,
why isn't he? Like, why?
I don't know. I honestly, I probably should ask Lou Anarumo that. I get he's maybe a better nickel than outside, but I just think he's a better outside option than some of these other guys that you just list. I think it was Blackman at 60 snaps, Edwards at 45, and I want to say Mitchell had a good amount as well, and Jalen Jones didn't have that many. And I get Jalen Jones got torched a couple times in Jacksonville, and I've been more of a Jalen Jones guy certainly here, but I guess if there's good news, San Francisco's wideout core is not very dynamic. We'll see about Pearsall. Obviously Nico Collins awaits in Week 18. You would hope Sauce Gardner is back for that. Mike Hilton, I don't get no, he's not. I think Daniel Scott, they've opened up his window as a safety, but Mike Hilton's still on injured reserve.
From Mason, I'm sure you're getting a million AR pod questions, but by not playing him these next 3 games, it feels like the organization is telling us they already have. Because if they truly believe there's still something there, why wouldn't you get him reps right now once he's cleared? At this point, it suggests one of 2 things. One, they genuinely don't think Richardson is an upgrade over a 44-year-old off-the-street quarterback who physically can't push the ball more than 20 yards anymore. 2, they're actively avoiding the risk of Richardson making 1 or 2 off-platform back foot 80-yard highlight plays that suck the front office or fan base back into believing again. To me, the whole thing gives off major break up with your girlfriend and immediately block her number so you don't get tempted after a few beers vibes. If you're really done, this is exactly how you'd act. Mason has some feelings.
Yeah. You like Mason, I can tell, right? You enjoy the expression of feelings, correct?
Yeah.
The blocking of a number, I don't know if I've ever resorted to that. Do you think anyone has my number blocked? Do you think anyone has ever viewed me in that light?
I'm sure all of us are blocked by someone.
It is interesting how I think Steichen has overall had this change, and I get, injuries have played into this of like the shift from must create big plays, must find someone that can do that, do it on his own, et cetera, et cetera. That was a general thought with Richardson to, I want someone that speaks my language. I want someone that I feel a little bit more in control with. And again, you sacrifice some of the big plays, but you probably gain methodical. You gain higher floor. Are you more higher floor or higher ceiling?
Higher ceiling.
Yeah. Which, again, that's a debate right now. Is that the best option with Rivers? So I think I laid out Richardson's health. Let's start there. I think there's legitimate questions about, again, where he's at from a health standpoint. But I think right here, right now, Shane is all in on this. I want someone that, can speak when I'm speaking Monday through Saturday and do it Sunday.
Well, there was even a part of that was said when he, picked Jones for QB1.
Yeah, no, I think that is a great point. Yeah, certainly.
Okay, yeah. Garrett, I've told people I don't watch regular TV shows that much because I watch sports. Sounds like you. But the last few seasons of Colts football have felt like a soapbox drama. Is there another team that has dealt with more events internally to make their franchise feel like reality TV show more than the Colts since 2018? Whether it be Jeff Saturday, Rivers, the QB carousel, or backward passes from rookie wide receivers, it feels like nothing is ever normal. Thanks and Merry Christmas to you and Eddie. I wonder this too. I mean, I think maybe I said that sports have come across my desk more in the last couple of years since I've done the pod. which is why it's exciting to be back here. But like, yeah, I agree with Garrett. It feels like there's always something to talk about. Do other people feel like this if they're fans of their own teams?
Yeah,
you're like more in it.
Yeah, I do feel like when you're in the bubble, there's a level of it across the NFL. I think back to, I think it was listener Sean last week that did send us in the message of all I want from the teams that I root for is for them to not embarrass me. And I feel like that's the only thing the Colts have done for the last decade.
Yeah.
And that's obviously jarring. And, again, we're not used to it. I mean, Mads, you and I grew up in this market. You and I are the same age. Our formative years began at 8 or 9 years old. And Peyton Manning was drafted when we were 9.
Yeah.
So think about that. I mean, we are only used to really into our, post-college years, consistent winning. I mean, 2 or 3 seasons that weren't January football, which is unusual. That is not the norm. Now, since then, again, the Colts are in what? I think there's only like 3 teams in the NFL that have a longer playoff drought than the Colts currently. And obviously the division title drought is, well documented. So
yeah,
I think there is an element of, there is some level of drama everywhere. I do think the Colts probably rank a little bit more up there than most recently. But I think some of it is bubble related. Mm-hmm. Would you rather watch, I think the NFL is the greatest reality series. Would you rather watch the NFL or watch Mormon Wives?
Oh, gosh. Probably Mormon Wives if I'm alone, but the NFL, if it's like the family's around and there's like, it's very vibey. I like having sports on in the background always. But yeah, I like that question, Garrett. And if you have kids, the only thing that gets me through when I think about how this big drought is that the law of averages means that it'll be really fun for our kids when they start caring about sports.
Well, what about the kids of the Cleveland Browns or the New York Jets?
Have they always been bad?
Perennial losers.
Really? Oh, gosh. Well, I guess that disproves my theory. Okay, from Gary and Craig. Or Gary/Craig. If we don't win this week, what could possibly be the purpose of playing Rivers after that?
Yeah, this is a popular question, and Gary and Craig both sent these in. I got several of these. Again, you are not eliminated this week, even with a loss. So that means you will at least play 2 of your final 3 games without elimination. I don't think they turn to someone other than Rivers until they're eliminated, and maybe not even then, as crazy as that sounds. I didn't bring him here to sit him on the bench. Let's go back to that quote. Mm-hmm. But having said that, boy, if Rivers does struggle or there is a lack of just more of the dinosaur offense, was that a Nelly burp? Dear Lord.
Oh.
Dear Lord.
Oh, big spit up.
A little spit up here from Nelly Bowen. Nelly has seen, 1 Colts win in her 6 weeks?
Yes, but she's seen a lot of IU wins, haven't you, Nelly?
She has, yes. Maddie Bowen, tears in the eyes, 10 seconds into the Mendoza Heisman speech the other night there. I'm trying to temper my expectations quarterback-wise. I would like to see, again, some short yardage wrinkles. Let's just start there. Even if you're going to do the Rivers thing, I think some short yardage wrinkles is needed, would be healthy for this offense, would offer a little bit more of a dynamic element. Frankly, I think when you do that and you're successful, it brings a little juice to the football team. Like I think Richardson did provide that. Obviously, he had other issues as a quarterback, but like when you're able to pick those plays up, particularly when you do it with a quarterback, I think it brings a little life and brings some of that to the table here. It looks like we got a few more questions we'll get to, and then we'll give our picks.
Okay. This is from Jamie, another interpersonal question. I'm loving these questions. Do you believe Shane's friendship with Rivers would make it impossible to make a change at QB, say if AR is healthy?
Yeah. Again, friendship is certainly there, but I think it's an insane belief, and he will do what I want. And I think there's just some scarness from Anthony Richardson. I asked that question today to Shane. If healthy, will Anthony be the starter? Shane got in the hypothetical mode today. I don't know if that was on the old talking points, but yeah, he doesn't use that very often. He's like, I'm not going to get into hypotheticals. But he then said, right now, Phillip is our quarterback. So, had Shane Steichen coached the Commanders and not the Chargers, would Phillip Rivers be here? No, I don't think so. By the way, how wild is it that Phillip Rivers has a 1-year-old son and a 1-year-old grandson?
It's the most wild thing.
So theoretically, son will throw a touchdown pass to grandson one day with grandpa coaching.
I mean, that's just making generations quickly. Switching generations quickly.
You
just have to
imagine?
have babies when you're really young.
You imagine?
And then just keep it rolling.
10 babies for the river. Do you think they're done? Should I ask Philip that, or is that not?
That people that have that many don't really think about it as a concept of being done. They just kind of keep rolling until nature takes over.
That's some elite Michael Phelps swimming by the old Rivers clan. Okay, what do we got here?
Okay,
what do we got
from
left?
Isaac, Ballard always values high character guys. Has that nice guy element contributed to the constant late season collapses? Maybe they lack the mental tenacity or grit to get through a season. Goodness.
Boy, Mads, you got some thoughts there? You don't like the tone of the question.
No, I just think it's I think it's interesting.
I've always felt like you need a couple crazies in a locker room. I think it's healthy. I think it's healthy to have a few of them.
Yeah.
You have a lot of them, it's going to be hard to corral, but I think a little edge,
Yeah.
a little nuts is good.
And we don't have, so is Isaac saying we don't have enough of those?
It sounds like that. I've always said this about Ballard and the big high character stress that he has had here. I have grown to get that. Like, I think the thought there with the high character individual is when things get tough, the self-motivation will win out.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I do think there's a lot of truth to that. But, I go back to him ranting back in January. Remember late in that season-ending press conference, hey, I got to go get more tough guys. We're not winning enough games late in the season when it matters. Well, shit, here we are in December, and it's been loss.
Yeah. And I wouldn't say Phillip Rivers is a tough guy.
Well, I think you got to isolate Rivers. The Rivers thing is notwithstanding. I mean, you can evaluate the 52 other guys a little bit more. The Rivers thing was obviously kind of an awful situation you were in. And you had to feel
does Isaac send in this question if Rivers is not hired? I mean, it is another like high character guy.
Yes, but again, Isaac puts in here collapses plurally. Frankly, if you want to look at the best January the Colts have had under Ballard, it's with Rivers at quarterback in 2020. I guess you go to 2018 with luck, but 2020 with Rivers, you won. I think it was your final 4 or 5 games.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great. I like that.
So, yeah, again, I think we have to isolate Rivers. I think it's more of, if you look at so much of this core, they have been together for quite a while, and the inability to win some of these late season games has been there. And, I mentioned this early on, when the Colts got this start, 5-1, 6-1, 7-1. And the question was, again, can you sustain it? Do you see this, going off the rails? I think this season for the Colts has been another reminder of a 17-game NFL grind is a freaking grind.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, the Houston Texans started 0-3, and now look at them. Some people would say that's the team I wouldn't want to play in the AFC right now. The Jags have won 6 in a row. It's just, Houston's won 5 in a row. Jacksonville's won 6 in a row, and the Colts have lost 5 of 6. Mm-hmm. It's just a 17-week grind. When you only play one game a week, it doesn't seem like it's like that, but it truly is. And
that's what keeps us coming back.
The Colts are living it right now.
Okay, Joel, feels crazy to ask this question, but if we assume Daniel Jones stays a Colt and comes back at some point next season, and Rivers maybe goes 2-2 and gets us to the playoffs, do you bring Rivers back next year to help be a stopgap, assuming he goes out there and does not look like he's 44 years old? Obviously, he would want to come back too. Wild question, I know, but we live in wild times. Ain't that the truth?
Boy, amen to that, Joel. I really think they believe Daniel Jones will be ready week 1. Now, again, how effective is he? How he looks? I don't know. Would you want to see Phillip Rivers quarterback it for the first 3 weeks and then go join his high school football team next year? You imagine?
How many games did Daniel Jones lose before he got injured?
The Colts were 8 well, technically last week was the first game without him, right?
Okay.
He got hurt midway through the Jacksonville game, first half of the Jacksonville game.
Okay, so 1.5,
so 1.5 is probably the best way to put it.
1.5 without him. How many
Correct.
was that with? How many did they lose with him?
They were 8-5. He was 8-5 as a starter.
Okay.
Yeah, 8-5. Daniel Jones on the hot meter. Is there a wag in Daniel Jones's life?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
But if he's listening, I could set you up with my sister. Do you think he listens to the pod?
What do you think? I think there's a better chance Nelly becomes the next Katie Ledecky than Daniel Jones is listening to this podcast.
The picture, the face you just gave me. But I think it depends on what picture you're looking at of Mr. Jones.
Oh, jeez. Boy, that's quite the critique. Okay, Colts 49ers. Here we go. Coming up Monday night, 6.5-point spread in this one. Again, the Pearsall injury will be one to watch the rest of the week. We'll see about Sauce Gardner and that availability. Mads, you want to go first, or you want me to?
I'm going to go with, I'm just going to put it in the universe. I'm going to go with Colts.
Whoa.
Did Max pick yet?
Max has not picked yet. No, he has not.
Gosh, yeah, we do feel behind on stuff.
But again, it's a Monday game.
Right,
You got some time.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Colts just because I want them to win. And if they lose, I feel like Isaac's question is going to live rent-free in my head.
Okay, any football convicted thoughts on the game?
Not really. No.
Not like Jonathan Taylor's going to break one, or Tyler Warren could be critical in the red zone?
I believe...
You got a score?
I don't know. I don't have anything.
Dear Lord. There are some people that are probably like, this has been the worst podcast maybe in the history of Colts Corner with Kevin Bowen.
Sorry, guys. I'm a little rusty, but I figured I'm just going to shut up now because if I said anything, it would be not based on anything.
I'll go 23-19 49ers. I really worry about tackling Christian McCaffrey. Really, really worry about that. I think I've shared this before, but when McCaffrey and the Panthers came here for joint practices a handful of years ago, watching him up close in person at Grand Park, I've never seen an athlete move like that. The lateral quickness, the fluidity, the ease at which he catches the football. I mean, that dude is a special, special talent. So the Colts tackling him. And Purdy's ability to extend a little also has me worried. But again, San Francisco has just lived and died from a special team standpoint so much this season. So I do like the Colts covering. And I think it's such vital that you do not play from behind. Try to play from ahead. Again, stay on schedule as much as they were able to do in Seattle and see what happens. Okay, we'll close with this. Your Super Bowl pick is who?
Well, I just want to say to the pod listeners that usually I am right when it comes to between you and I, so that's good news.
Oh, wow. Okay. Speak for yourself. Boy, should be a fun Christmas season in the Bowen household here.
And then Super Bowl?
Yeah, who you got? Take the Colts off the board.
Oh, man, I've not done a good job of following. Patriots, I guess. They're like super good this year. Oh, my gosh,
you're picking the Patriots.
Well,
as someone that grew up in Indiana, wow.
No, I don't want them.
I thought you liked the Bills quarterback who...
I'm sorry, I thought you were asking who I think it's actually going to be.
Right, I mean, the Bills just beat the Patriots last week.
Okay, then Bills.
Okay, Bills. There you go. Maddie Bowen first. Everybody, we'll talk to you on Tuesday. Safe travels if you're making the holiday commute. Eddie and I will be back Tuesday. Probably that'll be the only one next week as we look ahead to Colts and Jags. Colts Corner with Kevin Bowen, and thank you, Mads.
Thanks for having me. Sorry, guys, that was terrible.
I love you. Great work.
You too.
See ya.